Today on WZRA TV, we are very glad to have with us Scott Cavalheiro. How are you doing?
I'm fantastic. I'm enjoying my time at home with my family, and I could complain, but I won't because it's amazing.
That's good. What have you been up to? Okay, tell us. This is very weird for everybody because it's like a quarantine edition, like interview. What have you been up to the past few months, like doing at home? What's your schedule like?
Well, my days usually start with taking this little guy out for a walk. So,
oh my gosh, what's his name?
Scott Jr. He has his father's eyes.
Scott Jr. Oh, we'll see. You're having fun over there.
Thor.
What is it, Thor?
Thor, yeah.
Oh my God! Hi, Thor. You must have a good old time with him. Aww.
Oh, he's absolutely the best. My wife and I, we were saying that he's almost a year now, actually. We got him last year in August, but he's literally made our days infinitely better, especially being at home so much. So having each other and having a dog is just, you can't have a bad day when you look at him.
Exactly. Oh, okay. So tell us a little bit. Okay, so we see we're gonna mix things up in the interview. Okay, we see a little bit of cooking you do on your Instagram. We see some cooking. Are you the chef of the house? Is this how it works?
That's how it works. Yes. I genuinely love doing it though, so it's not like it's a complaint or anything to have to prepare 3 meals a day and whatnot. But we have been cheating as of the last month.
What have you been eating that's different?
Well, I've actually been eating my mother's cooking in the last month.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she lives in the same city as us, and she was living alone, or she lives alone in an apartment. So we brought her over into our place, obviously carefully, of course. We were both quarantined for 2 weeks, and then she came over, and certainly she's supplemented our appetites in the best way.
So she's a good cook then.
Oh, the best.
Oh, what nationality are you guys? What does she cook? What nationality are you?
My mother is Slovakian, and but she has a knack for cooking Italian food. I think that carbs are just the best therapy right now.
Yeah, that's about right. Oh yes.
So we're doing a lot of that.
Okay. Nice. Well, tell us, Mrs. Doubtfire.
Oh,
are you catching on? Are you catching on here? You did it. Again, we went along and saw your Instagram. We see what you post, and that was one of my favorite. I can't believe you're Mrs. Doubtfire. If they make a remake, another of the movie, you can do that voice. Wow.
I would love to put my name in the hat. Certainly big shoes to fill. Robin Williams was one of my favorite actors, still one of my favorite actors. I go back and watch a lot of his movies. I actually watched Hook the other day.
Oh, good one.
But yeah, that was sort of a childhood thing. I could always do that voice, and I watched that movie incessantly, and so I thought it would be a nice homage. I can't remember what. I think I filmed that episode actually around the holidays. And it was just an homage to him, and I thought it would be nice.
Can you do a little bit here live for everybody watching to see it? Can you do that voice? You have to.
Well, dear Doubtfire doesn't come down often, but when she does, she comes quickly, right to the interview.
Thank you, Mrs. Doubtfire, for showing up. Oh,
She's here. She's here whenever you need her.
Thank you. See, it doesn't even have to be Christmas time that you filmed, and now we're in the summer. She came out.
Yeah, she's in the heat of the summer.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that.
You've got to be careful in the heat of the
summer. That's right. Thank you for that. So tell us now. Okay, so obviously you're an actor, writer, producer. Tell us all about this. How did you get your start? Go ahead and fill us in. How did that happen for you?
It started very, very strangely. When I was a kid, my father, he still is. He's a camera operator for sports now. But when I was a kid, he was a camera operator for movies and television shows and whatnot. And he was actually filming this reality show. It was more like a talk show. It wasn't quite reality, but I was asked to be in the background one day I think I was 10 years old because they lost one of their background artists, and I was just like, I volunteered. I'll do it.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, well, he's 10. I'm just not sure if he can quite do it. And so I was on set, sweating, so nervous that I would, screw it up, even though all I had to do was just sit there and pretend to talk to someone.
Yeah.
And I remember getting in trouble both from the director and my dad because I was chewing gum, like trying to be all Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise. And they said I was chewing like a camel. So effectively, that almost ended my career there. But that's sort of where it actually began.
Mm-hmm.
But I sort of got, that was 10. And I don't think I really, I think my first break was really not until my mid-20s, where this, lovely production in Canada and Toronto here, and this lovely casting director took a chance on me to actually play, which is very different from Adam in The Good Witch, to play the villain in a series. So I was a bad guy for a whole summer, and that was just the most fun I ever had. It was, being on set for months. It was like camp.
Yeah.
We went away up north. We filmed. I'd come home on the weekends to see my wife. And that was sort of the jumping point. And that was the moment where I was like, you know what? We're gearing up to do Mrs. Doubtfire, so I'm going to start here and get to this.
Yeah. Okay. Very nice. Okay, so tell us, how did you get to Good Witch then? That everybody loves the show. How did you get that role?
That was a very interesting. Obviously, I came in the 5th season, and the show had been going on, I believe, for I think 7 years prior, maybe 8 years. I don't know the exact math, but it'd been going on for a very, very long time. And throughout the years, I'd always auditioned for little parts or bigger parts and whatever, and I never got them. And then at one point, I had just come off doing a holiday movie called Christmas with a View, and it was very similar in tone to The Good Witch. Obviously, it was a Christmas movie, but then my agent called me, and she's like, hey, Good Witch wants you to audition for this part. And I said, okay. And so I started preparing the audition, and I was like, here's my 100th audition for Good Witch. Let's give it a shot. Then she calls me back, and she's like, actually, casting, they want to offer you the role. And I was like, what? She's like, yeah.
Oh, my God.
I talked to them, and I said, Scott just finished this movie. Here it is. You can take a look at it. And it went all the way up to, I guess, the executives at Hallmark, John Eskenes, one of the executive producers. I'm sure you know all of them. Craig, everyone, and they said they loved it, and I was so touched, and that was actually my first time being offered.
Wow. Now, when you got Adam's character, is that what you expected, or that you auditioned 100 different times? Were you happy with being Adam at the end of the day?
Yeah, well, it was kind of a funny circumstance because there were, when I got the audition, there was actually 2 roles that my agent was like, you're going to be auditioning for both, and one was Adam, and the other was Vincent, which was Cassie's brother-in-law, or Cassie's brother-in-law.
Right.
Cousin.
Okay. Right.
And so John Paulo, who played Vincent, he also came in on the 5th season, and so when I got the role on my sort of contract, it didn't say the character name. So as I'm reading the script, I'm like, wait, am I Vincent or am I Adam? Because they're 2 totally different characters.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I remember going to wardrobe, and I see a clothing rack, and one says Vincent and one says Adam. And Vincent's a little, the wardrobe lady, Anya would probably be angry if I said this. He's a little bit more trendy, and Adam's a little bit more conservative.
Yeah.
So I saw the conservatism of Adam's clothes, and I was like, okay, so I'm Adam. Okay, good.
Yeah.
And that was sort of a silent moment that I had in myself, hoping I was going to bring the right character.
Yeah.
Though I didn't know which one I was playing.
Well, you didn't know that whole time. Literally, you went into the whole up until that point. You didn't know.
Right.
Oh my God. Wow. Well, I couldn't picture a better Adam. We love your character on the
Oh.
show, and I think everybody does. So it's like we couldn't picture a better Adam. But now, like we said, the last episode, what did they do to Adam's hand? Like, what is going on? This is unexpected. I feel like I didn't expect this from Adam. Yeah, like you guys were doing fine, and then all of a sudden your hand. So tell us about that. We want to know what's going on, what you can kind of say.
Sure. Well, without giving away any spoilers, of course.
Of course. That's why keep it as much as you can say.
What had happened was, I mean, on a character level, obviously Adam has developed some form of tumor, which has been altering the effect of his motor skills.
Right.
And when I read that, I sort of approached Darren, who's the showrunner of the show and who's the head writer, and I said, I was I went to school for neuroscience and I did my BA in psychology, and so I was pretty versed on that sort of stuff.
Oh, wow.
And I was viscerally concerned for Adam when I saw it. And I'm like, so how serious is this? I mean, where is it located in the brain? And I started deep diving into all this research and all that. And ultimately, you want to make everything appropriate for the show.
Yeah,
and you also, you don't want to make things too serious, but you don't want to make things too light because it is a very serious thing.
Right.
And so I was quite nervous, admittedly, to do his ailment justice, both as an actor, but also for the fans. I mean, not to mention if anyone out there who's ever gone through some sort of similar ailment as Adam, I mean, my only hope is that I can do it justice and bring honor to that situation.
Yeah.
And so a lot of, I think, what you're going to see in the coming episode, without spoiling anything,
of course,
is really that struggle before and that real genuine trepidation and fear, and also diving into the unknown before going into surgery and all those feelings. So he's certainly where we left off. That's where he is right now.
Yeah.
So again, without sharing anything too much, you can expect to see a lot more of that trepidation and that sort of uneasiness surrounding it, and I hope that the fans can really see that there's some honesty to it.
Yeah. Well, it's good on the show that you have Stephanie as your support. Even Sam is very caring for you, and he really cares. So that's good to have. It shows a lot of the characters support you. So that's nice to see.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's funny, actually. After last night's episode, I sent a text to Jamie Denton, and I was like, hey, I almost got choked up watching this, and I knew what was coming, and I was like, we had a good thing going on.
Yeah.
And he writes back, I almost want to pull my phone up. We're using my phone right now. And he texts me back, and he's like, I think it's working out.
Oh. Oh, see, yeah. I know it touched us at home too, just watching that whole thing. It's like everybody, it was great. Last night's episode. Yep.
Oh, man.
And I love how you live tweet with the show, that you kind of inform everyone what's going on. That's very awesome of you to do as well. I think the fans appreciate that.
Well, I'm glad, and I'm more than happy to do it anytime. And I have to give credit both to the Hallmark executives who encourage us to do that, as well as Caparel, who sort of reached out to me when the second episode aired, and she's like, "Hey, you live tweeting or what?" And I was like, "What does that mean?"
Yeah.
And she's quite well versed in that, coming from Winona Earp, so she really pushed me to come out and do it, and I actually have a lot of fun doing it. It's really nice to follow along and see how people are, see that direct feedback with everyone. It's really cool.
Well, we have to say we also interviewed Kylie Evans and then Reese Matthew Bond, and they were the sweetest people. And now we're interviewing you as well, so we can add you to the list. So the whole Good Witch cast are such sweet people. So that's good to say. How do you like working with them?
Oh, man. I mean, I certainly get to work with Kylie a lot, which is absolutely incredible. I mean, an actor coming onto a show that's been established for so many years, it can be quite intimidating to me. You know, you're like the new kid in school, and so you show up, and Kylie was very quick to say, "Come here, you're one of us," and sort of put her arm around me. And you know, both my wife and I were good friends with her and her husband, and we've hung out many times outside of set. We went for dinner and drinks, and you know, and so I can't say nothing but good things about Kylie. And Reese and I, we haven't had any, you know, sort of intimate scenes, but certainly, as you can, you know, as the seasons go on, you know that there's these big group scenes where we're all together, and those are really the best days on set. And Reese and I, we often peel off. He's a big sports guy, and we peel off and we just sort of bro out and we talk a little sports. We talk about boxing. We talk about all that. And he's, as you know, he's from the UK, of course, and it was always been a dream of mine to go there. And I actually went last summer.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. So he gave me some nice ideas of where to go, and I took his suggestions, and it was amazing.
Good. And tell us about the rest of the cast. Sorry, not even just limited to them two. Like, go on. Okay, you told us a little bit about James Denton and Catherine Bell, and just just everybody.
James Denton, I can't hate him enough. You know, hate that. I'm kidding. No, he is exceptionally handsome. Like, it's just really hard.
We see that. Yep.
Very easy to see that. So no, he's incredible, and he's sort of. It's amazing how quickly we became friends, and you know, he's quite the big TV star, and I was really surprised that I don't know, he was interested in sort of hanging out with a small town guy outside of set, so that's really nice. But apart from all that, he's really interesting. I learn a lot from him. He's very political. He's very intelligent and super fun. Catherine Bell, I mean, she's so enigmatic, electric. Like, she's so like, I don't think that you get to see enough of how funny she is.
Really? She in real life? Yeah.
Because she has this like sarcastic sort of wit and humor that's just so hilarious. Like, she just corpses us all the time in stitches, and she's like she has some crazy stories about you know, being a young woman in the film industry, and so she shares these amazing stories of working with like Tom Cruise and working with all these people and Jim Carrey and all that. So she always has a great tale, and she'll just sort of be silent. We'll all be silent in the room, and then she'll pop up and say, "Oh, you know what? Tom Cruise wants to do this thing," and we're like, "No!"
Oh my gosh!
So that's really cool. Sarah Power, I was actually friends with her and her husband Peter before I filmed on the show.
Oh.
We worked together. We did a short film, a bunch of us Torontonians here, and I met them on that. We spent some like crazy long nights together. So we were good friends before this. It was meeting Mark was new because I hadn't known him before, but he's good friends with Sarah, so instantly like, I like this guy, and he's super smart and intelligent. But I have to say, Catherine Disher she could read a phone book and she would make you laugh. Like,
she seems great in real life. Like, she would be. Wow.
Honestly, I feel bad for you when you inevitably do an interview with her, because you won't get through it. You'll just be laughing and joking.
No way.
But genuinely, I always watch her from afar, because whenever she's on set, it's like, it's really all eyes on her. Like, she's just really this sort of, you know, this super commanding presence in a very positive way, and you just don't want to look away, because everything she says is like comedic genius. And she's also, another thing that I really love about her is she's a big advocate for the Actors Union here in Canada. And she used to sit on their board, and so she's really pro-rights for us artists, and so it's really nice to have someone like that.
See, what else can't she do? Everybody's so talented over there. You guys do everything. That's great. Tell me, I wanted to know, because I always wanted to know this, you know, being like Merowicks like that, like, is Catherine Bell, how do you like explain it? Like her character in real life, is she that like on it and like, here, a phone's gonna ring. Can she do that in person? Is she kind of like that character? Or no, she's like literally playing a character?
I mean, she it's really, really interesting because she does have this sort of strange intuition at all times, and
Okay.
she gives you that Cassie sort of look, you know, the side eye.
Yes. I wondered that. There it is. Yeah.
And I don't know if it's like imitating art or if someone saw her and they're like, we're going to write a movie about how magical this woman is, because she truly is. She just has this strange intuition that you're like, are you actually a person or are you a good witch? Like,
right, okay, because I wondered that. Like, I can read her through the TV, and I'm like, I bet you she's like that in real life. I don't know why I get this feeling about it. I'm like, I bet you.
Totally.
Wow, okay,
totally.
all right.
But she's also like, she's just so, I don't know, she's so trendy. It's like, I'm jealous.
Yeah.
She started the whole last season, you know, when we were on lunch and all this, she was working on all these drawings from this like really like trendy jewelry. And I'm like, what are you doing? She's like, I'm coming up with a jewelry line, and she's designing it herself. And she's on the phone calling like resources to be like, hey, I want these rhinestones and gemstones and all this. And out of nowhere, she did it. Like, here's that is so Cassie of her.
Wow, that is amazing. You know, and I have to be honest, like we said, in tough times that we're all living through, in this time frame, just watching that show gives everybody a little bit of that hope and that magic. Just seeing that show really brings it to life. I know when I watch it, changes my perspective on life, and it gives me that hope, and I'm sure other people that watch it as well, and that's why I've watched it for so many years, and I won't stop, and that show's got that magic now that not other shows have, you know? So I don't know if you guys can feel it working on set or what it's portraying through TV, but it's really, you guys do a good job.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you, and I'm glad you sort of touched upon it. I mean, obviously there's a lot going on in the world right now, whether it be COVID or working on injustice, and I'm glad you brought that up. And I do hope that you know, the show Good Witch is certainly you know, an hour out of your week where you can sort of escape some of the mental turmoil that you may have going on in your own life or in the lives of others, and certainly something to enjoy and escape to the magic of Middleton. And yeah, I hope people enjoy it that way, and I hope it helps them through this time. And it certainly, you know, it certainly helps me to be a part of it, you know, live tweeting or even watching the episodes, because we don't know what they look like.
You watch them, though, as they air, correct? Like, obviously, live tweeting and everything like that. Is that how you do it?
Well, we can watch them ahead of schedule, but I like to follow along.
You do? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So when we were tweeting, I was watching it live myself to try to keep up with it.
Well, tell us a little bit about the filming. What's the filming process like for you?
I mean, the interesting thing about Good Witch, and I know Kazi said this to you on your interview, is that the sets are probably the most fantastical element of what we do. And I've never been on a show where everything was just so detailed and so larger than life, yet so functional in the parameters of a TV show. So right away, that does half of your job for you. I mean, whether you're, you know, in the hospital as Adam, and they've literally, you know, me being in the room, in the gurney or in the hospital bed and whatnot, they built the whole room. It's just like it feels, looks, it even kind of smells like a hospital.
Oh my gosh!
Sort of like insulin smell, you know, and they definitely don't spare any expense in that regard. But I also think that there's a certain interesting camaraderie on this show that I also haven't seen from others, where everyone's very supportive. If there's a good take, or if people really like the performance, everyone's very quick to be like, I really like that. That was so funny, or that was so touching. I mean, I don't know if you recall the movie that aired on Halloween back in October.
Yes.
But the scene where Martha gets re-proposed to, do you remember that scene?
I do, yes.
So we're all there. It was about 3:30 in the morning.
Oh, wow. Okay, we didn't know that.
we were shooting through the night because, and we shot that in August, and the only way to get enough night light was to shoot it at night. And so we would shoot literally 3 or 4 days in a row of night, which is obviously, it's very difficult for everyone. But their performances, Paul and Kathy Disher, they were so utterly touching, and we're all in tears. Every take I'm in tears. And I would even go up and I put my hand on Paul's shoulder, when we had a little break, when we were turning the cameras around, and I was like, man, that was really good. And Kylie went up. I remember her going up to Disher, and she's like, Dish, like, do you see these tears? I'm not even on camera, and I'm just weeping. You know what I mean? She's like, so supportive.
Wow.
And truly, there are, it is a show with tremendous artists. I mean, I don't need to tell you that. Like, everyone's just so good and supportive. So to answer your question, I mean, it's effortless. It's effortless being a part of the show, and I'm so grateful for it.
Yeah, it's a little bit also like, what is the filming actually like? Are there long hours? Like you said, you go till like 3 a.m., 3:30 a.m. What's that schedule like for you, or how often does it take to film an episode? How long?
Well, to film an episode, I believe I think it's a 12-day turnaround. So what that means is you have 12 business days to shoot a 1-hour episode. So, sorry, my mistake. You have 12 days. No, sorry, that was another thing. You have 14 days to shoot a block, and a block is 2 episodes.
Okay.
So episode 1 and 2 would be the same director. Episode 3 and 4 would be the same director, so on and so forth. So that one director would sometimes jump back between episode 3 and 4 on a given day. So maybe I'm shooting a scene with Sam, and we're in the hospital, and then we're shooting, and then we go and do a quick wardrobe change, and then we come back in the same area, in the same room, but we're shooting a scene from episode 3 instead of 4.
Okay.
So, at times that could be a little challenging where you're kind of hopping through mental notes of like, wait a second, so what's going on with the hand in this episode? What level of sort of pain or fear are we at? Or
that's true. It's
you
kind
have to check in with the director. Yeah. So, that's interesting, and again, you have those 14 days. I believe it's 14 days. I don't know. I'm not sure. I just show up.
That's right.
You have this, designated amount of time to shoot a whole block, and then but I have to say they're really good at getting us out. By getting us out, I mean shooting on time and being on schedule, and for the most part, you're there for a 8, 9, 10, anywhere between like 8 to 11 hour days, or more. And it goes by so fast. I mean, it's truly amazing. But sometimes, if you have the first scene of the day, you'll be in at 5:30 in the morning in the hair and makeup chair, and Catherine Bell's smiling. She's got her coffee. She's like wrapped up in a robe, and Sarah Powers getting her hair done. And, you're getting everything done at the same time. And then there'll be a scene with you three, and maybe Catherine Bell gets wrapped, so she goes home right away.
Oh, okay.
So she's done work by 8 a.m.
Yeah.
And then you might film until, I don't know, 6 p.m. or so. Who knows, depending on the day.
I was going to say, it was very interesting for us. I recognized right away Kylie Evans' real-life husband, who was her ex-husband on the show. That was so cool seeing him, because I spotted him, So that was interesting. What was it like working with him? And tell us about your character. Was he nervous kind of about him? I mean, you guys worked that through, of course, but...
Well, actually, the first scene first of all, I've known Sandy for the last 2 years now, and having him on set was just amazing, and it was also very sweet to see how proud Kylie was of having her real husband there on set. And so that was just so touching for all of us, and to see them gushing and flirting with each other. And, you know, it's very easy for them to have chemistry. So that was really, really nice to see. And, you know, but I think at that time, Adam, who's a very confident guy, he knows sort of, and he's been through tumultuous relationships before. So when he decided, or when he felt the love for Kylie, when he, you know, back in season 5, when he decided himself that, no, you know what, this is the woman that I want to fight for. This is the woman I want to pursue, and this is the woman I want to spend the rest of my life with. When he sort of made that decision, that brought confidence. And so I think having her ex-husband there didn't affect him until that conversation with Sam, where he's just like, I think the fact that you're asking this means you might have a problem with it. And I think that's when it started to get into Adam's head. And he was like, oh, man. Oh, should I be respecting this? Should I fight for this? Like, how should I sort of work through that? And that's what you see in that scene where Adam sort of pulls Stephanie aside at her house. And he's like, maybe you need some space. And you know, I think he was sort of going down the gallant approach, even though the hurt was there, even though he didn't want to lose her. But he also wanted to respect her.
Right. I don't know what occupation your wife has, what she does, but would you like to see her on the show? Like, if she's not an actress, I'm saying, is she an actress or not? Before I continue.
Wait, what? Sorry,
your wife, I don't know what she does, what occupation she has.
Oh, she's an actress as well.
Oh, she is. Okay. Before I go on, make her an actress if she's not. Okay. Would you like to see her on the show, acting with you?
I would love that.
Oh, you would?
I would love that. We actually, I can't spoil it. I'm not going to say. But there was a moment, in season 5 where Adam's ex-girlfriend, ex-fiance, came to visit him at the hospital. I don't know if you recall.
I'm trying to think if I remember. Okay,
And I was very new to the show at this point in time. You know, I'd only been there for maybe 2-3 episodes, so I didn't quite have the same rapport that I do now with, you know, the showrunner, the EP, or all that stuff. But I had said secretly to my wife, I was like, hey, you should call your agent. This is the character name. I know it's coming down the pipe. And I'll sort of like nudge them and be like, hey, you should look at my wife. And ultimately, you know, it didn't go her way in terms of casting her, but I'm still hopeful, and I think we're going to see Claire in Middleton at some point.
I'd like to. Oh, that would be awesome. Fingers crossed. Yeah. Fingers crossed.
Yes, please.
Yes. Well, tell us. Okay, obviously we love a good love story. Do you want to tell us your love story, how you met her? And
I mean, I don't want to sound too cliche or anything, but I was on the sitcom a couple of years ago, and by a couple I mean 7 now.
Oh wow!
Yeah, almost 7. Okay. Anyway, I was, you know, many moons ago I was on the show, and on one of the days that I was working, I played this firefighter, and he was always greasy and dirty, and you know, wore a hat, and classic, you know, trope, firefighter trope. And the lead actress of the show, very lovely actress, she brought Claire to set one day. And she was sort of introducing her around to the writing team and everyone. And she came up to me, and I think it was only my 3rd day on set, so I was still quite green. I didn't really know anyone there. And she introduced me to Claire, and she was just electric. I mean, sheer beauty. Maybe it was the lighting, but I'm pretty sure it was her. But there was a halo around her, and I was just very nervous.
Really?
Like, very nervous. And I remember leaving that day shortly after I met her. I was finished. I wrapped for the day, and I wanted to say goodbye. And I wanted to say, like, do you want to, I don't know, have lunch with me next week when I'm on set or whatever? Who knows? But I didn't, because I was quite nervous, and I just went home.
Oh, no. Okay.
I couldn't do anything. And then cut to 2 weeks later, thankfully this happened because I had a movie that was in a film festival, and she also had a movie that was in a film festival, and they played back to back.
Fate? Can I say fate?
Dare you say fate? You dare. You dare say fate. And she, and I was sitting beside a mutual friend of Claire and I. I didn't know that, we were mutual friends. And so said, gosh, who is that girl? Like, I was just looking at the screen. I was like, she looks so familiar. Have I seen her? Other than in my dreams, I'm just not sure. And she's like, oh, that's my friend Claire. We went to university together. And I said, and that's where I put all the pieces together. I was like, you have to introduce us.
Yeah.
And the long and short of it is I was still very chicken. I was still very nervous over her beauty and her wit. She's very funny. She's a stand-up comedian as well. And she sort of called me out on Twitter. And it's funny because if you sort of look back to like the history of my Twitter account, there'll be tweets between her and I flirting with each other.
Oh my gosh.
And she sort of says, this is really the hardest I've ever worked to get a date. And I go, oh my gosh, okay, so let's go on a date tonight. And we ended up, and here we are. We're married and we live in this home.
Oh my God. Okay, wait, I gotta back it up. I'm sorry. Okay, so first time being, like, meeting her, you didn't say anything. The second time I didn't catch on, you didn't say anything again at that point? It led to Twitter, and then?
Yeah, because our movies were at the same film festival, so we had the ability to tweet the hashtag of the film festival, and she was congratulating my movie, saying it was great. And I saw that she tweeted that, so I tweeted her back, and I was like, your movie was great as well. And we went back and forth. She just walked by right now. I'm talking about you.
Oh, you're a very beautiful love storyteller.
Well, I'm sure it's a different perspective when she tells the story. She's probably like, this is a story about a guy who can't take a hint.
Oh my God. Okay, I hate to say it. I don't want to like call you out here in a bad way. But why are guys like, you're a lead example because like all guys do this. Why? If you like a girl, you need to say, you're lucky you're married. You got her. But I'm saying, yeah.
Very lucky.
Yeah. But fate
lucky.
helped you guys out. I like that. I like how fate like was on your side for both of you. I like that.
Listen, I sort of said this at my wedding, and in more words than not, but basically, I didn't know that it was going to happen, meaning that I was going to, quite literally, as the cliche goes, fall head over heels for someone. Mm-hmm. And I think when that happened, from my perspective, as a male in the 21st century, which may mean nothing, but also, this is my perspective, it's so fumbling. It's not something you suspect. I never thought, when I was a child, I never thought that I was going to get married. I didn't. I just didn't think.
Oh, so at all? Like, at all? You never thought at all?
Yeah. I mean, I just didn't see it as something on my list.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It wasn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't a 10-year plan of mine. It's not like I sort of told jokes about friends when we were younger. My friends were like, I can't wait to have a family, and I can't wait to have a dog, and I can't wait to have all this stuff. And I was just like, I can't wait to have a job. So when I met Claire, it was very fumbling. It was very it sincerely tripped me up.
Wow.
And I think maybe if I could, I'm not going to speak on behalf of all men again, but at least in my perspective, maybe if someone does it to you or to anyone else out there listening, maybe he's just so nervous that he's genuinely fallen in love at first sight, and he just doesn't know what to say or do.
Okay, what do you think? Do you like when the girls take like charge like that, like your wife did, and she called you out on Twitter? Do you like when the girls like? Do you think the girls should text the guys? I mean,
it was certainly a much needed and much deserved wake up call. So I really appreciated it.
If your wife didn't do that, what would happen? Yeah, Well, what happened?
I would probably be talking to you from a basement apartment as opposed to a home right now.
Wow. Okay. Oh my gosh. I like this love story though. This is yeah. Yep. Because you guys, what you're speaking of, Claire. Obviously, you're so supportive of each other, and I really love that. Like you always you throw her name out there, and it's like I love seeing support from couples like that are married, and just that's beautiful. So.
Oh well, thank you, and truly, I mean, maybe she thinks I'm kidding when I say this, but you know, she's not listening anymore, so
It's all clear.
you know, I mean, she's just not paying me to say this, but I sort of almost everything that I think I am is because of her, and you know, she's such a great support, and I don't think I'd even be on the Good Witch if it weren't for her. I mean, you know, she certainly has influenced both my personal life with her, my family life, my outlook on life, and my career. So I can't thank her enough for that.
That's beautiful. I'm going to touch back to when you said you didn't want to get married. When you saw her and you said she was electric and she was like glowing, did you think you were going to marry her at that point?
It was at that moment that I had a feeling that I couldn't quite pinpoint.
But
it wasn't like I had that. It wasn't like a light switch went on and I'm like, it was completely dark and now it's completely light. It was like a light switch went on and I couldn't quite see what color it was. So I knew something was there. Something was festering. Something was boiling up. But it wasn't until I think, I want to say we were dating for maybe even 5 months where I had this insurmountable rush of like, oh my goodness, I want to marry someone. And that's what that feeling was the whole time. I tried to like, nah, that wasn't it, and push it away, and but that's what it was. It was that from the beginning, but I didn't know it.
And you didn't know it. Wow, I'm sorry. Yeah, how long? When was the engagement? Like when the engagement for you guys?
We started. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to call her in the room. I won't do it. I know it.
You got this.
We started dating in 2013 and we got engaged in 2016.
Oh wow, so 3 years later.
And then we got married in 2017. Yeah.
That's nice. Where did you guys have your wedding? Where?
Oh man, you're gonna have to look it up because I mean I'll tell you about it, but you're gonna want to see some photos. We got married in a small town called Caledon, which is just outside of Toronto, and surprisingly, I became a groomzilla. Well, more like I became we were both zillas.
No
way. A bridezilla and a groomzilla, and we were both equally involved in the wedding in terms of creativity and design and all this, and I used to be, Claire grew up working on a golf course where a lot of people got married, so she had seen a lot of bad weddings, and she knew what she didn't want. And I grew up as a DJ, and I used to DJ a lot of weddings, and I've seen a lot of bad weddings.
Okay.
So we both sort of had this amalgamation. We united to form like a superpower of wedding, and I can confidently say that it was the wedding of the year.
Really? Okay, fill us in. What was your wedding like then?
If I have any advice, I mean, first off, if anyone who's watching this had their wedding canceled due to COVID and everything that's going on, I have complete empathy for it. I mean, it's a very stressful endeavor to plan a wedding, let alone to survive during this time. So I have a lot of empathy, and I wish them nothing but the most excitement and beautiful wedding in 2021 or whenever it's rescheduled to.
I agree.
But I would say the number one thing that I think people forget when they're planning a wedding is flow. It's like wedding is not a conference. It doesn't happen, and then it doesn't, and then it happens again, and then there's a break, and then it doesn't, and it does. Wedding, it's a melody. You have to keep people's entertainment. It's like a TV show. It's like if you lose someone, they're going to go home early, or they're going to hit the bar way too hard, or not at all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So right away at our wedding, we jump right into the ceremony. We already did our photos. We got right into finger foods and cocktails and music, and then right into the venue. We had food trucks pull up, and you could pick what you wanted to eat out of each truck. We had a band. We had a really good friend of mine, was a very talented actor, and surprisingly a very good DJ. He DJ'd in between the band sets, so there's always music. And we got married in this, like, in a field, in a barn, and it was just so. It sounds rustic, but it became very Mediterranean, and we were sort of inspired by the Portuguese, which is where my dad's from.
Oh, wow.
And all this stuff. So and we had very, very Greek colors as well, lots of blues and whites. And I assume you're Greek. Are you
Yeah,
Greek?
I am actually. Yes. Where is the Greek coming from on your end? Why Greek?
I mean, it's only coming from my love of Horiatiki and,
Are you serious? Wow.
And pasticcio.
Yes.
And all that stuff, so.
Yes. Oh, wow. You've never been to Greece before, have you?
Yes, we on our honeymoon we went to Corfu, and we went to Santorini, and we went to Athens.
Oh my gosh. What was it like? What did you think? You liked it?
Well, we've been to many places in Europe in the last few years, whether it be on our honeymoon or, just traveling. And I truly have to say, and this is not because you're Greek.
Okay.
The best food and people I've ever met are in Greece.
Really? Oh.
Yes.
Thank you for saying that. Standing up for Greece. Yeah, that's great though. You had a good experience. Wow.
I had an incredible experience. I mean, Corfu is one of those places, I don't know if you've ever been there, but very, it's not a place that a lot of people talk about, so there weren't a lot of tourists. It was very, 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 very rural, and we stayed in a villa, not even close to anything. We had to drive to go to these little tavernas and all that, and right when we got off a plane, we just ate at someone's house, I think, on the side of the road.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And we had, what did I have? We had a horiatiki, and then we also had a, what is with the pastry, and what is that? It has the cheese in it.
Tiropita? Or spanakopita? Tiropita?
Spanakopita. We had that right away, and we melted, and I was like, this is what we need, and it was just it was simplicity.
Yeah.
It was clean. It was friendly. And even the experiences, I mean, I don't need to sell you on your own country, but, there was no detail that was missed.
Wow.
I mean, it was truly a remarkable place. I would love to go back.
That makes me so happy to hear, and I never expected this. This is wow. That's great. Why did you choose Greece?
We actually, before we got engaged, my wife sort of put our name into this draw, and we ended up sort of winning a week in Corfu at a villa.
Oh my gosh.
So we're like, where's that? Like, where's Corfu? We're like,
Where's Corfu?
by Albania.
Yeah.
And we didn't know it was an island. We thought it was, part of the mainland. Anyways, so we had that. I think we won this in early 2016. And Claire had thought that I was going to propose in 2017 when we went there. But I actually proposed in 2016. And so we decided to make that trip our honeymoon.
Wow.
So we had 1 week already planned, and then we just added a couple more weeks onto it.
Yeah, which how can you not? Yep.
I mean, it's a once in a lifetime experience, and we thought we would take the time. And while we were all the way over there, I mean, as you know, it takes a long time to get there. And
it does. Yep.
While we were there, we took full advantage of it. We went to Greece, and then after Greece, we went into Spain. We did a couple cities in Spain, and then we went to France. We did a couple cities in France, and then we flew home.
Wow. You guys are moving to, like, Europe over there? Like, it sounds like it. It
truly, we just want to go back. We want to go back to Europe. It's such a tender place in our heart.
Yeah. Wow. Did you learn any Greek dancing? Any Greek words? Anything? Because Koreatiki you could say pretty well. Kalispera, Kalimera. Did they teach you Tikanis, Puspas? Anything?
Eparisto, Paracalo.
Yes.
Yasu, Yasa.
Yes.
I don't know now. I mean, now maybe it's eluding me, but we did it all. I mean, we were certainly dancing. We would dance the night away. We met up with another 2 couples in Corfu because our villa was large. And we would go out every night and just go to anything local. It's like, I don't care about what is the best nightclub or what's the best, whatever. It was just like, what is local, we'll go there. And we did that.
That's awesome. Well, I'm glad you guys had a good time and have the best things to say about Greece. That's awesome.
Incredible.
Wow.
And yeah, beautiful history too. I mean, obviously very, very checkered, very scary history at some points, but amazing stories people tell and amazing architecture, and we really Greece has a very special spot in our heart.
Oh, that's nice. Well, I didn't expect interviewing you that you'd be saying Greece out of your mouth at all. Like that, I didn't see that coming. Oh, that's awesome. Because we have Greek viewers, of course, our Greek radio and TV. So we're going to include this, and they're going to enjoy this very much. So.
Well, please send my love over to Greece because I left a piece of my heart there, and I'll have to come back again.
Yes. Well, thank you so much. We were glad having you on our show, and we filled in everything that we wanted and more. So thank you for all of that fun talk. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me, Athena. It was so much fun.